Today we're gonna swap out a few pieces of equipment, harvest some beautiful sorghum, and we need to bale this straw on field 60. But I think it is time to get rid of this flatbed trailer and upgrade to a gooseneck for the truck. Let's get started by doing that first. Let's see how much money we can get from this. Going into selling, 10 grand, that's pretty much gonna repay us. Let's go ahead and repair it and repaint it. It's $14,000 now. We're gonna sell it for 14 grand. But after doing those repairs, we made about 10 grand from that, and that's definitely gonna buy the new trailer for us. Let's head on over to the store and get that picked out. All right, it's 8 o'clock. They should be open. Yep, couple guests in there. We'll have to wait a little bit. But looking at the sales, there is this planter that would be nice, but it has some bugs. I felt like it was tough to use. I didn't check if there's a newer version of it, but nothing else really exciting here. So let's focus on why we are here. We have this gooseneck here. This one is a Rockies trailer. And I think this is gonna work perfect. The Rocky trailer will work really good. It's got all of the auto loading features that we need. And I am gonna do all the upgrades on it just because I think it's gonna look good. Yeah, we got the triangle back there, the lights, there's a spare tire up here. Let's look at it in person, let's get it bought. Here we go. It is a little smaller, but it'll do for what we need it for. We got the triangle there, we got the lights like we're talking about. There should be a toolbox up here. Right there, we can put some tools in. We got the spare tire. All right, perfect. And the reason why we needed this is I wanted to do easier trips with moving around the wool instead of having to bring the semi all the time. We have a lot of wool to move. It makes sense to bring the semi, but today we have a decent amount, not too much, and I think it'll work, but maybe moving some bales with the semi will make sense because we should have a lot of bales today. But we did talk about other equipment we're gonna upgrade as we run into a wall there in a building. We are gonna swap out one of our balers. We have 2 round balers. I wanna swap one of them out for a square baler, but we'll do that after we do the harvest because I think I wanna do that first. So we're gonna head home, move a little bit of wool around, get it over to the production area in case it is needed eventually, and then get to that sorghum harvest. Okay, maybe the configuration of this is a little off. We need to lower it so it only can stack 2 because this is gonna get super top heavy, so we'll do some slow turning here. Heading down to the grass field to see if we have any wool to move, but 19,000 liters overnight here. And I think that's also all of June's potentially, but we are getting almost completely full here. So we'll get these ones loaded up next and then head on over and drop them off at the production yard. Okay, that feels much better, and this is exactly what I was wanting it to feel like. So we got it set up. We're gonna head on in. We do now have 23,000 liters. We have a partial one in here, which is fine, but we'll need to double check and make sure we don't need to move any wool into the fabric production because, you know, as we learned last episode, that is our moneymaker. But speaking of moneymakers, we're gonna start making a little bit more moves here soon. I have a plot of land. Actually, it's 3 fields that would combine into 1 plot for us for a future site for a lot of productions, and I think that's what I want to get into on this playthrough is start having a reason for all these crops, or at least as many of them as we can, and start, you know, using some productions I don't typically use and see if they're really profitable and worth it, and start finding different ways to diversify farming here instead of just always doing cotton, or not cotton, but wool and fabric. And our improved entrance here that we fixed last episode, and look at all that fabric that needs moved. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and cruise up here as close as we can. Try to get these all to load in right away. Perfect. All right, we're gonna jump in the forklift now, get that fabric moved over. Now, I wonder how long we're gonna be able to go without having to charge this battery on this electric forklift. The only thing electric we're using on this playthrough. Does have that beautiful sound. Sounds like a Tesla backing up. I think if we stack 2 of these on each other, let's raise that just a hair. Yeah, right there. I should be able to smoothly get out. And then grab that 3rd one. I should be able to do it in one go here, even though I'm not lined up perfect. I think it'll be fine with this forklift to be able to handle that much weight. There we go. Get that in. Tilt it just a hair. Yeah, that's sweet. Seems like the right equipment here for this job. But can we see? Yeah, not too well. Should work fine though, cruising up to the shed and just dropping it off for storage. Our premium textiles here. And of course the bottom one we'll have to put on the ground and back up. Not bad, not bad. All right, let's get back home get that harvest underway. But yeah, production expansion is definitely something I want to look into. That is our only production right now, and that doesn't seem to be, you know, the most wise thing to do with the size of farm we're now running here. And I do want to keep expanding. $739,000, so we have some opportunities, and we'll talk about that later on, but I do want to prioritize the harvest first thing in the morning, get the sorghum taken care of, get it into the silo, and we'll figure out when we're going to sell it or if we're going to find another production to use that product in. I mean, oats and sorghum would be natural just to start doing flour, but I've done that a lot, so I'll be taking a peek. I spent a good amount of time in ModHub and on the internet yesterday, kind of looking at productions that were out there and seeing if anything really jumped out at me. So we got some decisions to make, and we got some time before we got to make them. But it's always fun to get back to the fields that started it all on FS25, and there they are. 3 fields originally, now it's just one large one. It's its turn to get harvested today. And can we squeeze through there if we have the header? Yeah, we don't need to bring the header trailer. We can just get on over there since we're at home. This thing really is a beast. Probably more of a combine than we need, but did you see that adjust its height? That was sweet. Oh, that's right. The steering assist is broken on this. We fixed it. I do know how to fix it. I was trying to get that set up, but we got to redraw at least the edges of this field, but we're going to do this without steering assist here. We're going to do it all ourselves, which we can handle it. We're just spoiled. We're not used to it. Let's go ahead and bust out the headlands, see how this thing's yielding. The other thing we haven't talked about, and I probably will do it, but I wanted to finish this season, everything that's planted, is swapping to precision farming on this playthrough. But I figured it would make sense to get through what's planted so we don't have to, you know, mess with that. And we are going to plant some things in the fall. We'll just have to deal with that eventually. We'll find the right time. Maybe in January we'll flip that on. But let's go ahead, get the headland done, see how this is yielding, see how many times we got to unload her, and make some progress. And just over 14,000 liters in the harvester now. Let's go ahead, and we're gonna have to hop out here. And I think the grain cart might still be hooked up. Let's find it. We did wash everything last night, except for, no, I did bring the pressure washer over there and clean up the John Deere, so we should be good. All right, let's get her unloaded. We do want to take a trip and see if we can extend that pipe again. I'll probably do that after this harvest. There we go, that'll work. A little spillage there, but we'll manage. And back at it to finish the headland, and then the ups and downs. There won't be too many passes on this field. You know, when we started, it felt big. And we've started playing on some of the custom US maps, and that's, you know, showing us more realistic US style fields in the size of them, at least Midwest, where I'm at. Yeah, it should be like 4 ups and downs, I believe, maybe 5, and this thing's done. Not bad at all. Bust her out. See you on the other side. Almost done with the harvest here. I'm really enjoying not tabbing to vehicles on this series, and I think I might install the no teleport mod. Is that what it's called? It just feels like, I don't know, it feels good for this series. We didn't open the pipe, but we are full again, and this is going to put us close to having the Brantner here completely full. Let's go ahead and pull up to about right there. I think we'll be good. Pretty good harvest so far. Filling up 14,000 3 times is pretty good, and it won't quite fill up the grain cart. We got this little bit of area back here to finish. You see it behind me there, and the little triangle. I need some caffeine, guys. A couple sips of caffeine there, and boy, the harvester was driving fast, caused me to push the wrong buttons. Let's go ahead and get this figured out. How did I do that? I'm still learning controller. I switched from steering wheel to controller about, gosh, probably a month and a half ago, and I'm still struggling a little bit on the buttons, but the steering wheel, I was having so many, honestly, you know, we're going, you know, away from farming talk here. I was having so many back issues with the way my setup was that I needed to not do that. My back was constantly hurting me after sessions of recording, and I couldn't do it anymore. So until I get a better setup that's more comfortable and I'm not arched over the whole time I'm using the steering wheel, we're gonna be using controller, and I'm actually enjoying it with tractors, not necessarily long driving. I feel like there's some problems with vehicles that drive at a little quicker speed with controller, and maybe it's the sensitivity. I don't know. Let me know. There's a lot of console players that watch. Do you adjust the sensitivity? Do you just drive slower to deal with that? Because I feel like I can drive faster and have more control with the steering wheel compared to the controller, but it still feels pretty good for the most part when we're at lower speeds, if that makes any sense. But that'll finish the harvest or complete it. We missed a few spots, but we're not gonna stress about it. We got plenty of sorghum here, and we'll see if this will actually fit. Yeah, we gotta head over right now. I'm gonna drop the header back on the header trailer and drive this over to the store, the dealership, and see if we can get an upgrade to it, because it's just not gonna work. And if there isn't an upgrade, we might need to go with the smaller header, which at this point sounds terrible. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that right away before we forget. Let's head on in. Looking at it folded now, I think we do have the longest pipe on here already, the auger pipe, but we will go find out. All right, time to find out here. Let's see. I think we might be out of luck, but we're gonna give it a look here, a gander. There's no upgrades on this? What? Oh, let's look in the store real quick. So that's the S7, and then there's the X9 that has a bigger pipe. But there it is. Okay. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll fight through this harvest year. We can't afford to really, I mean, we could afford to upgrade, but I think it'd be silly to upgrade to that. We'll see how it goes. I think we only have one more field, just the soybean field, to go with the grain header, and I know this harvester works great with the corn header. So, yeah, there's that oversteering I was talking about. If we potentially might want to just have this as our dedicated corn harvester, and if we do like sunflowers or some other things that have those other headers on it, we could do that as well with this harvester, and maybe get another one for grain. I know we got this on we must have got this on a steel. I'm trying to remember, but it's not a modded one. I was thinking it was a modded one that has more configuration options. But now we know. And I just, like I said, I don't really want a smaller header. I think we'll just deal. And spraying down the harvester here just to make sure we keep that maintenance as good as possible. 3 or 6% damaged right now. All right, that's off. We got to get the grain cart moved, the grain deposited into the silo. While we're here, yep, food's good there. And I believe food's good at all of them. We'll have to figure out what we're going to plant in here. I do want to get at least one field flipped for planting in the fall. I'm not sure. I think that might be field 59 and 60 that we're going to go over to next. And we'll probably want the semi as well to pick up the bales over there as we bale them up. We are going to get a square baler. We have 2 round balers right now. One can do wrapping for silage. The other one is just a regular round baler, and I think that's the one we will trade in for a square baler today. But finding the identity of this playthrough is what I want to do in the rest of this year 7 here. Is I think we want to, let's talk about it. Let's jump in the truck. I want to show you the fields I want to buy. One of the big things that I've had a problem with on Riverbend Springs is finding flat land to build a lot of production buildings and not have to do a lot of terraforming to make it look good. So I did some scouting overnight, and right here I think is what I've landed on, being pretty flat. There might be a small slope that direction up, but this is probably the most flat area that I found on the map besides our fields in front of the farm there that we just harvested. So these 3 fields we talked about early on in this series, we actually owned this one for a while and then resold it for a different upgrade. But all 3 of these I do want to purchase and turn into the full-blown production yard. I feel like it was a little bit off on the one down the road. I think we'll keep the spinnery there, or the fabric factory there. But I want to get some productions in here. I think like oil I want to do, because I haven't done that yet. Potentially the big canned food one, but we'll get to that in time. We got to stay focused on the tasks for August. Just want to kind of give some ideas of what I'm thinking for this, and I want this to be a pretty awesome, like... All right, I need your guys' help. Is it a bug? I've been having to reload the game every once in a while because I completely lose audio to where I have to exit the game and then reload the game, not just the save file. And I've started to wonder if it's this truck causing it. Not on Mod Hub. This is one I found real early on. I've never looked for an update to it to see if it's better or improved. And I honestly, I don't know if it's just a bug in the game with one of the updates, but I figured the community might know, so I thought I'd ask. The headphones just go dead, and the recording software shows that it's just a bunch of feedback. I don't know exactly what's happening, but if anyone does know, maybe it's a mod conflict, maybe it's just a bug in the game, and we have to just deal with it. I don't know. I can't remember at this point. I'm going to start paying attention a little more and see if it's just this save file that it does that on, or if it's multiple save files. But yeah, if anybody else is running into that problem, I would love to know. Maybe leave a comment, or even in the Discord, bring it up, because I might actually ask people in the Discord as well, just to drive the conversation, because it is kind of bothering me. And if it is a mod I can just remove or get updated, I think that would be, that would be very awesome. Because it is a little annoying. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes sometimes, depending on how slow my computer's being, to get this game to actually reload for me. Partial bale in here. You know what? They can eat grass, right? Let's just give it to these sheep right here, who need a bale moved over here anyways. No reason to give this to the dealership when we trade it in. And we are heading in with the 7R because we are going to do the baling next after we sell this and buy the new baler. And at this point, we are going to start seeing the money drop a little bit here. And I kind of do want to get to the selling phase this year before we start buying those fields and potentially some new productions. And we really got to make that decision on what I want the productions to be based off of the goods we have in hand and the type of crops we want to focus on moving forward. So the brain's constantly ticking, trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with that. But let's go ahead and let's repair this, but I don't think we'll repaint it, and we'll sell it. We'll get 17 grand for that. Not too bad. All right, let's see how the weight is right now at the dealership, across the road, across the parking lot, and get that new square baler. I mean, they should have an SWU sign right here for us. That would be awesome. All right, square balers is what we're looking for here. And we have, that's right, we don't have a John Deere option. We do have, or a Case option here. I think we'll go with the Fendt. We're gonna change the rim color though. Someone did have a comment or a question asking about the color number that I have custom here. There's a couple here. Oh, does it tell you? Oh, here we go. We can see it here. So 35, 76, 55 is on this one that I use a lot. And then there's also in my favorites this darker one that is 16, 38, 27. I think most of the time we go with the lighter one because it is more on brand with the logo. Not necessarily metallic like that, but if we go to the matte finish, it's a little bit darker than the logo, but I don't know. We stay on brand with the green color scheme a lot because of the channel logo, to be honest with you. Yeah, especially when I do that with my trucks and some of the other series where I paint them the green color. I'm not a big fan of those rims, but for demonstration purposes, that was kind of fun to show you guys there. Oh, it also put it on the PTO shaft here. Look at that. Nice. We do have 32 rolls of twine in this, so that's gonna go a long ways. So we head up here. That's not our turn. Our turn is the one we just missed, so we'll loop through this parking lot here. Oh, the warehouse. We're gonna visit that today too. But let's get back on the road. And square bales, let's see the sizes here that we have configured. It's configured right now for 220 centimeters, but I think we can go up to we'll go to 240. So we have less to move around. And this is, I call it field 60. This is field 59 and 60 combined into one plot here. Let's go ahead and get that going. And get this straw baled. Another source of income for us. We have nothing to use it on the farm. We don't have any animals that need it for manure. So this is all be profit here after, I guess we spent a good amount of money on the baler, so it'll take a while to make that profit. But let's get focused on this, get this done, so we can start looking at what we're gonna do with the 2 fields that we've already harvested. 22 bales so far, just finishing up. I think we're gonna get enough in this one. We'll get a partial for the last one. It's not going up as fast because I forgot they're the 240s. But the big boys, we got 22 of the big boys, and that will make 23. Let's stop that, unload, and I think after I do that, yeah, I can get the partial one as well. Do the little folding trick to get that one to drop. And 24 total bales. I think we will just do the gooseneck instead of the semi. So we'll go home, get the truck, head on back out here, get these picked up. And then we're going to double check the prices because I cannot remember if straw fluctuates much. I don't feel like it does. So it might be okay to sell it today. But one thing at a time, let's get them loaded and then figure that out. What is this advertising? Herbicide, okay. Is it like a movie trailer? Rated R. Resistance management. End of the nightmare. Burn down before it's too late. Interesting. Let me know what you guys see in your town, or if you are farmers yourself, what you guys use round versus square balers. Around my part of the country here in the UP, I see nothing but round. I don't know if I've seen a single square bale since I've lived here. And it's, you know, there's a lot of hay cutting going on in town right now. And, you know, we actually lease out one of our fields. What's going on here? Start the engine first, but it won't start. Okay, we're having some bugs today. Our maintenance will not be happening on that. We'll have to reload and see what's going on with the pressure washer there. But yeah, we have nothing but round bales around here. Like I was mentioning, we do lease out our field, and the farmer, Don, he did cut the hay this week, and it's out there. It's just drying right now. It's rode up already. Well, it's not rode up, but it's in the swaths that his mower does make there. But he's about to bale it up, maybe today actually. And if I remember during editing, I'll throw a picture on there of what we have outside. But yeah, what do you guys have in your areas? That was a really long-winded way of asking. Do you see round bales, square bales? And then my viewers, obviously, they're not all from the US, so we have a lot of international viewers as well, which I appreciate it. It's awesome to see in the comments. But yeah, let me know what you see in your area of the world, round versus square. Always interested in that. All right, we are gonna have to make multiple trips. Let's go ahead and pull over to the side here and take a peek at the prices. Straw does fluctuate a decent amount. And if we look in here, we can see, let's go ahead and hide what we can't sell. But straw is, or we would lose about $9,000, so we will not sell yet. I'm gonna find a spot over here just to store these for now, and hopefully they're not gonna be in the way if we replant. But if we go here and we switch the unloading side to right, we should be able to just do that and get the rest of them picked up and moved over there. And then when it comes time to sell them, we'll have to come over here and get them. No big deal, but I think it'd be better than taking them all the way home. We can just get this job done, get on to the next one. Completely just 2 loads here. That's awesome. 24, I guess that makes sense when we have 12 per load. And there we go. All right, we're gonna head to the warehouse next. There is a big purchase I wanna make that's not really gonna make us money, but it's gonna progress the playground. Yeah, you'll see in a minute. We're gonna want wood beams, and I want 12 of them. So we're gonna have to buy 2 more here. Hurting the pocketbook. We're down to 431,000. We'll see how much it gives us back though when we sell them. Now that loaded nicely on the new trailer. Yeah, I think we got the height right on the auto load configuration now. All right, spent a good amount of money on this. Let's see what we get back. 124,000. So I think we lost about, I don't know, was it 20 grand right there? But we'll check in later on and see what the next phase is. We got plenty of fabric over here, not too worried about that. A lot of rope, a lot of planks. I don't know what's left, but I do want to see this when it's done. So that'll be part of the playthrough. We absolutely are going to finish that. And I think getting that production yard completely designed and built is going to be a prerequisite for me to call this playthrough complete. And thanks for everyone that responded to the community post talking about that, on what makes a series complete. I was wanting more, and I guess I could have worded it a little differently. I was somewhat looking for what makes your series complete, and I should have called it a playthrough and not a series, because then it leans towards YouTube when I do say series. So, but yeah, lots of awesome feedback, and A lot of it aligned with, you know, once the story or goal, the thing that you set up at the beginning is complete, it's done. It's pretty much that simple. So that's where I feel like defining goals is important, and then driving towards it, reminding ourselves of what the goal is at all times so that we can, you know, stay focused on that and engaged in the goal at hand is really what we should focus on there. And we are starting to get a little bit low on grass, so September we might want to find some time to get the grass cut. And I did notice we are out of wool in the production, so we're going to get that up and running again. And now moving number 10 of 10 here. This thing's smooth to drive. This is my favorite forklift on the game. It's just easy. It's easy mode. All right, let's drop that off. And the next thing I want to do is kind of reacquaint myself with some of our equipment to see what we need to plant. So let's hop in here and look at our vehicles, and I think we have the bednar. We do have the bednar, so let's double check if that needs tillage or not. No previous cultivation or plowing necessary. All right, let's look at the calendar. The only thing we could plant is canola, and I am sold on the, why can't it turn that way? I am sold on getting the oil production, so I think canola oil would be one of the things that would be pretty good to do there. So we are gonna get the bednar, and we're gonna head on over to field 59 and 60, and we are gonna get canola planted today. Just back on up, get this configured. We're out of all the goods here. What do we have in stock? Do we have anything over here seed and fertilizer wise? It doesn't look like it, so let's go ahead. We'll head to the market here and we'll get some seed and fertilizer for this. And we're gonna head on over, and like, this is fun. I don't think I used this, but maybe once or twice so far. Canola going in the ground. Oh, the joys of AI drivers. All right, get out of here, dude. He's probably waiting for the popo. He's turning in front of me, guys. All right, let's use our brains here and learn the capacity of this while we do purchase in here. So it says it's configurable. I doubt. Oh, okay. So 2,000 seed, 3,000 fertilizer. I don't think we did the upgrade to 2,400. So we'll buy 2,000 seed, 3,000 fertilizer, get this thing topped up. 2,000 seed and 3,000 fertilizer. Need to unfold to load this one. Makes 0 sense, guys. Oh, we must have done the upgrade to 2,400 seed. 2,000 should be plenty, though. All right, let's head on out there. And I guess we fold this up to get back out there. We don't want to drive with it down like that, but we will get to the field, start getting some canola in the ground. All right, we finally made it to the field. I took a wrong turn, but we took the long way. No worries. 3 headlands is what this wants to be configured for. Let's go ahead and get rolling. Yeah, that's nice. Some canola going in the ground. And hopefully we'll save enough money to buy the production and those fields by the time that we get to it, to this harvest. And I think that will work out fine. I was kind of looking at everything we have going on, and the soybeans alone may help fund most of that. And as long as we don't burn through a ton of money on the playground between now and then, which I think that'll be the last purchase we do until we get those 3 fields that we're talking about buying established and owned in our name. Not necessarily all the productions we want, but I at least want to get that property owned and in our hands, so we can start terraforming it and changing it the way we want to. Might look at buying those fields that are ready to harvest, because I think one of them was a tiny soybean field, so we might grab that one and harvest it and get the income from that ourselves as well. But time to focus on this and get her done. finishing up the end rows here, and I'm gonna start doing the ups and downs next. Going pretty good. Still, you know, we haven't even used 60 liters of seed yet. So I think we're tracking pretty good on material that we're gonna need for this planting session. We should be completely fine just to bust this out. Do this awkward little section here, and then we will shift on over to the big ups and downs. Yeah, this bednar is pretty perfect for the field sizes we have. Maybe a little bit bigger of a seeder or a planter would be nice for things like soybeans in the bigger field, but I think the equipment's pretty good that we have. We've done pretty good on this playthrough. And a little check-in here where we're about 50% done, and yeah, the capacity is awesome on this planter, or this seeder, sorry, it's a seeder. Gonna definitely not need to buy any more seed or fertilizer, and probably do a couple other fields without having to worry about that. But we'll keep focused here. Good thing it's August and we have a lot of daylight, so the sun isn't even close to being set yet. We can see what we're doing really good out here. It's just time to finish it up. I think long term we might want to look into an engine upgrade on this, if not getting a bigger tractor. Some of the uphills are a little challenging. As you can see, we're dropping to 9 miles an hour, which is pretty close to the normal planting speed, so it's not that big of a deal. But when you play the style that I play, we like to use a little speed override over here. So, downhill we will be able to get to that max speed that I have it set at is 17, but uphill it is struggling a little bit, so possible upgrade long term I think would make sense to help us be a little bit more efficient. And flying down here on this last pass, beautiful new canola field. We'll have to get the other application of fertilizer applied and treat the weeds in September. And I'm not 100% sure if our soybean field shouldn't be ready yet, so that'll be most of what we do in September, is make sure this field's prepped completely, and we might even figure out if we want to plant something in the field by the farm as well. But that's where I'm going to leave you. Been a pretty eventful August. We'll check on the playground next month as well, and keep progressing on this new plan we have of buying those 3 plots of land, buying some productions. The oil production definitely will be the first one. We'll want multiples in there. We may even do a flour mill just because we have so many oats right now, and we have a lot of sorghum, so we could make some flour out of the sorghum and out of the oats and make some extra cash that way. Just gonna have to see where the dollar amount's at. We're not gonna get the money from the soybeans until July of next year. And speaking of that, let's double check we're not forgetting to sell anything before we end this episode here. Looking at time-saving stock check, we missed. Oh no, we did sell them. We just had a little bit left over. We sold them last episode. We are solid. But as I mentioned, that's where I'm gonna leave you. I am Sockswayup. Thanks for hanging out. If you've made it this far through the video, you might as well smash the like button. And if you're not subscribed already, no pressure, but it's up to you. You don't wanna miss out anything if you're enjoying it. Probably hit that notification bell as well, because I have noticed in the analytics that it is a small amount of people that do get the notifications, and it's always annoying to find a channel that you want to keep watching, but then YouTube doesn't send you or tell you that they've posted videos. So I don't ask that very often or mention it very often, but thought we would today. I'll catch you on the next episode.